Welcome to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
All right. Welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is episode 12. And Mike and I are fresh back from vacation. I was in Costa Rica. He was in Punta Cana. Mike came home with some sickness. So we're recording a little bit apart today, but it's fine. So we have UC Davis running backs coach. We have Kevin Burke. This guy's going to tell us all about Lan Larison. It's going to be a great episode. If you're a Lan Larison fan, you may want to tune out, or not a Lan Larison fan, you may want to tune out now. But if you are, you're going to be in for some good stuff. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsors. So Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. It's in the Arcade in Providence. It's an amazing place to go. They probably have 30, 40 beers on tap. Great.
I think they're up to 55 by now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of beers on tap. It's awesome. I took Mike probably 2 months ago now, and he loved it. But great, all locally sourced food from all local farms. It's amazing. It's like high-end new American cuisine. Check it out, Arcade in Providence, if you're there. Impact Brand and Marketing. So I know I say this every single week. We are so close to having our swag. Kevin Burke, you will get some swag from us. T-shirts, hats, mugs. If I can get Kevin Burke wearing a LFG Pats Pod hat, I'm in. But John D. Donato, Cumberland, Rhode Island, check them out. They are amazing. I'm a Cumberland guy myself. I went down there. Mike and I showed us his whole shop. This guy's amazing. Check it out. He is putting stuff on a website for us. We'll have it out there pretty soon. But without further ado, Mike, I know you did some homework over there. I want you to tell us a little bit about our guest before he does.
I had known him as the running back coach for UC Davis, but what I didn't realize was that this guy had quite a career himself when he went to school. And I just think it's interesting some of the accolades you got in school and how that like manifested into a coaching career for you and ended up where you are. But you were the boss in in college, weren't you? You got a lot of accolades. Your team did very well while you were there, weren't they?
Yeah, that last part of the sentence is the most important because the team was unbelievable. I mean, I played quarterback in college, but I was throwing to 3-4 NFL receivers, so it's a little easy to do well when you just toss the rock to those guys and let them go to work.
You guys had a fantastic record. I'm looking at 43-2. Wow. Is that correct? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, over my 3 years as a starter. Yeah.
That's insane. So yeah, you guys did have a pretty stacked team, huh? And you also, I saw the Gagliardi Trophy, which is given out to the best D3 college football player of the year. But you were the first junior winner and the first two-time winner. Is that correct?
Sure is. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Has that been broken yet?
It hasn't been broken. The quarterback for North Central, I think last year or 2 years ago, I think it was last year, ended up being a two-time winner, which is really awesome that I'm no longer the sole proprietor of that, and he can join me, which is really cool. I mean, it's really good for all D3 and for really all football to have that, that type of talent to build the league, really Division III as a whole. I mean, I could go on for an hour and, talking about Division III, but it's really high quality football. So I'm really, really glad that dude was able to do it.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. We were talking to who do we have on? Paul Sorensen, yep. Joe, he's the announcer for what ECW.
EW,
and I made the mistake, and I'm not going to make it with you. I said I let the word slip, lesser competition in the particular division.
Yeah, don't say that. Yeah.
So I lesson learned on that one. So I'm never going to do that again. And he basically dressed me down for that one. So we're not going to go that route again. But how did your career and your success on the football field, how did that transfer? How did that manifest into a coaching career for you? How did you get your start doing that after playing?
I just love football, and so I ended up playing football in Europe, overseas, and there's a bunch of football over there that people don't know about. And they have a high passion for it, and I've met some of my best friends over there. But after college, I ended up playing over there. The league, NFL didn't want a 5'10" white Division III quarterback, so I had to pivot and and go elsewhere, and had a lot of fun, man. One of the best things I ever did in my life. And so I ended up playing in the spring because their season is the opposite of ours. So play in the spring and then coach in the fall, and Mount Union, and coach for Case Western Reserve Division III school in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And just loved it. I mean, I love football, and so couldn't really get enough of it, post college. And that's how I kind of transitioned into where I am now. Just love being around it and growing and learning.
So you've always worked like with the offenses. You've worked with QBs before and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, coached quarterbacks, coached running backs. At both of those places, had experience on the offensive side of the ball. So
awesome. Well, it definitely helped Lan last year. You said he had a decent year. I would say that is a complete understatement. The guy had one of the most dominant years that we've ever seen. And the more film that you look at, the more dynamic the guy gets. I mean, he literally did it all for you guys last year. Like you had him in every possible formation. You had him throwing the football. You had him catching the football, running every kind of route and every kind of run scheme too. So how did he end up being as talented and dominant as he was coming up through the system? I imagine you coached him for at least a couple of years, right?
Yeah. That was, I got there in 2021 and, met him right away. So I'd been with him for, 3-4 years at this point now. So
he can take all the credit when he makes the team.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We'll give him the credit.
He actually, if you don't mind, Kevin, I watched a lot of his tape in high school where he played quarterback. So did he just started running back when he got to UC Davis, correct?
Yeah, he was recruited by the Hawkins, Dan and Cody Hawkins, who are now at Idaho State, but they did a really good job recruiting him, and they just recognized the talent in him, and not just as a quarterback, but just as a football player. So he was definitely someone that caught our eye and caught our attention early, and we jumped all over him and believed what we saw as a football player, not just quarterback or running back or whatever. Like, we just knew he could play, and that's still something that we do to this day. I mean, there's guys on our roster right now that they could play multiple positions. They're just, that good of athletes. And that's what Lan was. So he really took the running back thing pretty serious when he got here. And he was an all-American kick returner, and he just wanted to get on the field any way he could. And running back was definitely the clearest route for him. And so he took that with just a full head of steam. And
so he took the bull by the horns, most literally and figuratively.
The low-hanging fruit was there.
Yeah, that's okay.
I had to take it.
Yeah, you got to do it. I hear you. Yeah, he took the bull by the horns. But he, awesome kid, and that's what he's doing right now is just soaking up everything. And he was a sponge when he first got here, and he's a sponge right now in the NFL. And so it's it's going to lead to success.
It just doesn't. You don't see it every day. A guy that has potential NFL on a roster to doing some steer wrangling or steer wrestling or what it was. That combination doesn't come across in the NFL, so it's pretty unique.
Ready?
Yeah, it's definitely a story that caught some attention by multiple people. Just hearing him talk about some of the NFL experiences he had the past 6 months really was pretty cool to hear that was a legitimate thing that caught some people's attention. And it's obviously a huge positive for anybody that can see the benefit and having a guy like him on your roster.
I'm sure Joe's going to clip.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to show the Lan Larison clip on the steer wrangling. It was a local spot on a TV show.
But off the football field, he's the one doing the tackling, jumping off of a horse and taking down a steer in the rodeo event of steer wrestling, which all seems pretty fitting given that he is an Aggie after all. Our Kirsten Keller has his story.
I loved rodeo, and my parents always told me that I could rodeo forever and I can't play football forever. Something cool would be back at my football career and rodeo.
From steer wrestling to the gridiron, there's seemingly nothing Lan Larison can't do.
I'm kind of adrenaline junkie, so I love it.
I don't know the last time he's practiced rodeo, but I have seen him do that. I've seen him jump off a horse and wrestle a steer to the ground in front of 10,000 people, which is a really fun thing.
For as long as the UC Davis running back can remember, rodeo has been a part of his life. Larison, who comes from a long line of rodeo, competed as a steer wrestler, collecting a number of accolades, all while being a multi-sport athlete. In high school, the Idaho native went from rodeo to Friday Night Lights. Larison was torn on his future, but thanks to the Aggies, everything became clearer.
The recruiting process was pretty tough, pretty weird for a kid in high school that doesn't really know what he wants to do. They were really supportive. They reached out to me quite often, and it was like a whole team recruiting me and not just like one guy. They were really good, and I fell in love with this place when I came here to visit.
Larison is coming off the 2022 season, where he earned first-team All-Big Sky honors.
All right, I'm not going to drain the whole clip. It was, probably another 45 seconds. But, the big thing that I take away from that clip, and it's not just the steer wrangling. I mean, that's badass in its own right? But to me, like, he just comes across as such a humble kid with, like, zero ego. And it just, like you said, he's the kind of kid who's he's going to get in the game some way. If you, like, kind of like Vrabel when he first started, right? Like, get me in. Like, he had no patience of, like, I need to contribute, right? He just seems like that kind of kid who has, like, no ego and he's ready to go. I don't know if you can add to that.
Yeah, I mean, he's, obviously he's a confident dude, but he's extremely humble. And, I remember the first time he met my fiance, Charlie, he stood up, took his hat off. We were at dinner and shook her hand, looked her in the eye. Like, that's what his parents raised him on. And so that's the type of person he is all the time. But, when it's him and I, or, whatever, just him alone, like, he's confident as all get out, but, he's not somebody that's going to be, turning guys off the way he talks and acts. And, like, that's just not him. So, you got to have a level of delusion and confidence that you're going to make in the NFL. And that's how guys survive and thrive. But, just humble is all heck, which is really cool. I mean, and that was the thing I don't think concern is the right word, but just being able to go into the running back room and know how talented he was. And then coming off of his blowout year and being able to say, hey, man, we still got things we need to work on. And he is the one who's initiating, hey, coach me hard and don't let up. And, because he knows there's just a lot more that he can get better at, as with everybody, right? You too, me, like, we all can get better no matter how good you are. So him initiating that was really cool and just, speaks to who he is, man. He's always trying to learn and get better.
Yeah, he seems like a very coachable guy. For the things we've heard out of like rookie camp and OTAs is that you tell him something once and he's not going to stop until he corrects it. He's going to make sure he's like an excellent listener and an incredibly fast learner. And I think that's why he can be so versatile, because in order to make the roster, he's going to have to play some special teams, which I don't know how much he did at UC Davis because he was so involved in the offense. Is that right?
Yeah, we have our philosophy is our best players play special teams. And if you want to be a best player, you should be playing special teams, right? And so, that was one, not to cut you off, and I want to get back to your question, but I think really important to highlight, like, he was pulled off of special teams by us, not because, like, he was too good for it. And so he was an All-American kick returner, sure, but he was also, on punt and on punt return and on all these other units that just weren't like glory positions, right? And so he's personal protector on punt and the H on punt, and getting everybody lined up and going down and doing the dirty work, right? And on kickoff, and he's just, he's on our hands team and getting smoked at the end of the game when guys are onside. I mean, he got hit, 3 or 4 times this year where, geez, I don't know, many guys wouldn't get up right away after that. But his willingness is really, really not surprising to see him carry that to the Patriots. And obviously, who knows, there's a lot that can happen, but that's why he's got my vote and our vote to make the teams, because his willingness, not just his talent, to play special teams. Like, he'll be, I guarantee if he was on right now, he would love to be a special teams demon, and that's it for, 10, 15 years in the NFL. Like, he would love that.
He wants to go in. Well, the question was answered, first of all. Like, that, I didn't know like how extensively he had actually played, but it seems like the type of guy that he's like, hey, if that's how I need to prove myself, then I'm going to go out there and prove myself in the best way I possibly can, and then move along from there. So it's awesome just to have team guys like that not only are willing to do it, but have also done it, because not a lot of high profile players coming into the NFL, they weren't asked to do special teams toward their junior and senior seasons because they focused on their position, and then they had to go back to special teams. This guy's been doing it the whole time, so it's like it's just second nature to him. So I think that goes a huge way towards solidifying his team, his spot on this team, because I think there's so many things you can do with him. Use him in all three phases of the, well, maybe not defense, but all other two phases of the game. Unless who knows? Unless they need a slot corner in a pinch or something, who knows?
I think one practice last year we had some injuries and some things, and we were mixing guys around. We ended up having him go on defense to do a one-on-one pass rush drill, and so he ended up rushing the passer and getting to the quarterback, and it was kind of fun, but it was more of like, oh my God, he could, I mean, if we legitimately needed him, I think he probably would have done it. No questions asked, but yeah, thankfully we didn't have to get into that spot, but yeah, he'll do it all, man. He'll do it all.
And Mike Vrabel is making it very abundantly clear that he is building a high character, leadership driven team. And there will not be an ego on that team that he will not control. And so it seems like, I don't know, to me, it's a great culture fit. It's a great need fit. I mean, Mike and I have talked about this ad nauseum. I'm not sure your knowledge of the NFL or the Patriots, but Ramondre Stevenson last year was huge, a huge disappointment. He put the ball on the ground 7 times. He clearly looked, to me, he looked a little out of shape. And this year I think he dropped like 20 pounds. But to me, you have a guy who I think is at this point probably overpaid. You drafted Travion Henderson, so that's huge. I mean, he's going to be clearly the future as a second-round pick. But then, who's the future behind that, right? I don't think Travion may not be a 25 carry guy, right? Is he able to be Jahmyr Gibbs? We don't know yet. But to me, you have this guy that's kind of multi-threaded, can play multiple, special teams, can play offense, and he can throw them. I mean, this guy's a weapon, right? He's kind of an X factor. I don't know.
Catches.
Right. And so I want to play this other clip because for those of you who live under a rock,
I already know
you haven't seen this kid play. Watch this next clip.
He's like the Pablo Sanchez of the FCS. Last year, he led all college running backs across any division in rushing yards per game. This year, he led all running backs in receiving yards, 853. The next highest was 671. He's a shutdown pass blocker, didn't allow a single pressure this year on 59 pass blocking snaps. He can return kicks. He takes snaps at Wildcat quarterback. He was pretty much UC Davis's entire offense. You obviously have to adjust for level of competition, but you could make a case that Lan Larison is the best receiving back in this class. I mean, such a well-rounded skill set. He's got reliable hands. He can be that stabilizing third down back that you feed checkdowns, but he's also a dynamic weapon down the field. He can run the wide receiver route tree. He'll separate from defensive backs on deep corner routes. He can run slot fades, wheel routes from the backfield. He can track the ball over his shoulder, high point the ball, make contested catches. He's a patient inside runner. He can hit home runs when he breaks runs outside. He has solid contact balance. He can stiff arm, hurdle defenders, lethal jump cut to shake the last line of defense. Based on how little hype he's getting, I assume he's going to go undrafted, but man, if he was available, I would spend a day 3 pick on this dude.
I mean, it's tough to watch that and be like, this kid cannot contribute to an NFL team. Like it's just bananas to look at that and say he didn't let up a single pressure as a running back. I mean, that's unheard of, first of all. Second of all, he's playing in the slot and running fade patterns and running posts and catching them with one hand. I mean, this kid is the definition of dynamic. Tell me, Kevin.
Did that video go through for you front to back, Joe, with no lag?
Yes, it did for me. I don't know you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Kevin. Oh, you did. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
just double checking. That's all. Just double checking.
The versatility thing is all him, and that the reason he has those stats or whatever you want to say is because of his ability, and he's not just that jack of all trades, right? He's like the master of all these trades. And so he's so good at pass protection because he studies so hard of who to pick up and how to do it and what to recognize and what defense. He runs routes in our practices. He's always running routes and getting extra work in on special teams returning stuff after practice and on the jugs machine. So he's doing all these things that allows him to, thrive in the game when he gets that one catch or that one pickup or whatever it may be. Because, he knows just as well as every football player, like, you put in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work and preparation for a moment, right? And so he loves that. He loves the work, and he's bought in so much which is why I think the Patriots is such a good fit for him. He's bought in so much to the process and what it takes, and the preparation. The preparation is the biggest thing, and he loves that part of it. So, yeah, he's dialed in, and his knowledge, his willingness, and plus obviously his talent really accumulates to what you guys are seeing right now.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that fits the mold of what Vrabel's bringing in. Selfless, a team first kind of guy, versatile, checks the ego at the door. And Vrabel says things like, we have to earn the right to be here every single day. So he has selected guys that fit that mold. And this guy seems to fit that mold perfectly, which is why we're excited that he's on a team.
Yeah.
Or if not, he will be on the team. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, it keeps cutting in and out a little bit. Hopefully you guys still got me on that stuff, but who knows? I mean, he's still got a lot to prove, and he's so far away from where he needs to be, but high character dude nonetheless, man. And he's, making good friends with, Chisholm and Elijah Ponder, two Big Sky guys, and, as well as, Campbell and all these other high, Drake May. Like, he is a guy's guy, but he works his tail off to be able to be one of the best players on the field at any given time. So,
granted, it was OTAs, but not to cut you off, sorry. But when Ramondre was out, his father unfortunately passed away. Lan Larison was taking the first team reps. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't read into everything, but I mean, there was other guys there. Antonio Gibson was there. It's like, so to me, he's already kind of making his mark. As granted, Efton Chisholm has clearly stolen the show at OTAs. I mean,
both those guys.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, I don't know. I see it as a high character, high ability, high ceiling, right? And that's, to me, the NFL is not just about can you contribute now, but what's your ceiling? What can you grow into? I don't know. I'm just not a huge Ramondre fan. Antonio Gibson, I feel like they maybe could be past their prime. And then you have a guy like him. If I'm constructing a roster, I might keep one of those guys, and I might say, you know what, let's keep Lan around because something. I mean, it was a bidding war, right? He got paid, what was it, $250,000, Mike? I forget what the.
It was a big guarantee, whichever one it was.
It's big for UDFA. So,
which is another reason why you want to hang on to him. He's not going to make it to the practice squad.
No.
Somebody will definitely pick him up on waivers if he gets cut. So that's another reason try to keep guys like him around. Keep guys like Chisholm around, who's another guy. Kevin, you were in the Big Sky. Did you guys ever have any dealings with dealing with Efton Chisholm or anything like that?
We played him this year. Dude's an absolute stud. I mean, he. Do you guys got me? I think keeps.
Yes,
I can see it. It freezes, so I don't know if I should keep talking.
You're good.
So we played Eastern Washington this year, and just watching him on tape when we play other defenses and scout other defenses, you see the routes he runs, and so it came time for us to play them, and that week, and then the day of the game. I mean, this kid is as advertised, does everything the right way. I mean, he's an unbelievable route runner, understands the game. I mean, it's really a joy to watch guys like that. Obviously, you're playing against them, so you don't want them to do too well against you. But, guys like him, man, you love seeing them succeed. They just do so well, and they're a joy to watch in person. You remember those guys for kind of really the rest of your life. Man, I remember Efton Chisholm when he played at Eagle back in 2024. So that's been a really cool one to see him kind of explode, because we've seen it, and I know obviously the Eastern Washington guys have seen it, but the Big Sky, anybody involved with it knows how good that dude is. So no surprise he's doing well, and Lan and him have done really well to prepare themselves. And Lan's telling me about how these guys are going out every day with other guys to walk through and go through all the scripts and just like do the extra stuff that we know them to do all the time, but maybe some other guys aren't doing that. So it's no surprise they're succeeding.
the work and the cream will rise to the top. So when you played Chisholm, kind of like Lan, I know they played different positions, but Chisholm, I heard, was basically their whole offense, and they schemed everything around getting him the ball, whether it be screens or on slants or even on deep routes. Did he kill you guys when he played you guys?
They have such an explosive offense. It wasn't, obviously you get a player like him or like Lan, and you're trying to feature them as much as they can humanly take. So they did well. It was a high scoring game for us, and it's just a credit to how they play and how they don't give up. And, especially playing at home, that inferno, as they call it, man, it's no joy to go there and play and try and beat them at home. I mean, it's hard to do. And yeah, when they got athletes all over the field, it's, defense, offense, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a battle. So just really, really fun to sit back. And I know for the defensive staff, not necessarily as fun in the game, but for an offense to see, him do well, it's pretty fun to watch.
We've enjoyed it as well. He's a perfect fit for our Josh McDaniels offense. So we think he's going to, after we're talking about, we think he's going to bump some guys off the squad because of his precise route running. And like you said, the work ethic and the dedication. Him, Lan, there's a couple other guys that are coming early, staying late, staying in the books and getting extra work on the jugs machine or what have you. And those are the guys that are standing out. So if guys like that are willing to put in the work that other guys on their standing aren't, and believe me, there are other guys that aren't doing the same work, then those are the type of guys that are going to end up making the team. So we have both those guys making the team. We like it. It's a strong gamble, we know, but we like it. We're sticking to it.
We've been saying it for a while, too. So when people come around, they're like, oh, who's this Efton Chisholm guy? We're like, oh, great. Now that he's blowing up camp, now you guys get to come and say,
let me tell you a story.
But so, yeah, I think that between the two of them, I think they both offer that unique drive and skill set. And I think what Mike Vrabel is doing is he's making sure he's very conscious of the team that he's building. And I think these guys, but now taking this another direction, Kevin, if he wasn't going to make the team, what do you think is Lan Larison's biggest weakness in his game, or biggest, I guess, weakness in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's a number of different factors. And I've talked to all these scouts. I mean, I think ultimately, if it's under his control, he's going to make a team. And when I talk about, things are out of his control, football is a violent sport. It's an unpredictable sport. And so you never know. And there's things that happen to guys that are unfortunate, but if it's under Lan's control, I don't see him not achieving his goals. Right. And obviously there's things he needs to work on. I mean, he's not going to be the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest. And he probably hates hearing me say that, but he knows he's got things to work on constantly. Right. And whether or not he has the best hands, or whether or not he reads inside zone the right way, or as good as other people can, like that stuff, he's always going to try and work on. Right. He has the confidence. I talked about that earlier. He's got all this confidence in the world, but he knows that, man, I'm always chasing greatness and perfection. And so that's going to be a constant with him. But who knows, man, it's going to be a fun journey to kind of watch throughout these next couple of months.
Oh, we can't wait. Training camp's in a couple of weeks. We'll have front row seats. We can't wait to see what that guy does. Both those guys do, really. Yeah. We have a special interest in those two guys.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually, I was talking to his dad, Bob, and it looks like there needs someone to show him around Boston. So Mike and I might get to hang with them. I know we both have tickets to the Commanders preseason games, so that might be fun too. So we get a front row seat at all these guys. They're going to get a lot of snaps, especially the first game, right? So that's how much Joe loves Lan, is that he's talked to his mom and his dad through X or whatever it is. They're both great people. I mean, it just the reception of them and their faith in their son. And they said, look, we'll be on the podcast, but when he makes the roster, or if he makes the roster. I said, oh, it's when he makes the roster, right? Yeah, there you go. But no, I just think his story is fascinating, and I think he just brings a different element that we haven't had. I don't think ever really. That's someone that's that genuinely good and talented, but also is hungry and has an underdog story, and all these good things that I think lead to this could be, a folklore that we're talking about in 10 years, like, oh man, remember Lan Larison? That guy came out of nowhere, shocked everybody. And, him and
If you want
Travion
to be
Henderson.
impressed, all you have to do is watch a couple cut-ups of him, A, catching the ball, and then B, running between tackle, because he looks like an absolute bruiser on one play and he looks like a finesse guy on the other play. So he's got all the systems working. He can fit any role no matter what they ask him to do. And that's the most impressive thing at all, because we drafted Travion Henderson in the second round. We don't think he can run in between the tackles yet. I think he's a great passing back, a great blocking back, but you see Lan run between the tackles. He's running people over. And he's not going down on the first hit. He's got incredible contact balance. So just to have a versatile threat like that, I think is going to be a really good thing for the team.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and talk about Bob and Jan. I mean, I love those people to death, man. And they're some of the best people on this earth. So, really, really happy for them and kind of what's going on and all the excitement, and makes a whole bunch of sense to have them give you that answer of we're not coming on until it's final. So, that's just right there. It's the epitome of the Larisons, man. Job's not done. So we have nothing to celebrate right now.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome. The family is kind of fascinating too. You got the brother and sister who are also steer wranglers. Like they're all they grew up on a cattle farm or farm in general. I mean, we're in the Northeast, so we don't really know anything about farms.
Yeah.
But essentially, he's a good old boy from a farm that just is getting his shot. And his parents are his dad's like an ex-Marine. I mean, they're just like a hardworking, like tough-nosed family that's like no nonsense. And they're like, yeah, when he gets on, then it will be on. But until that happens,
And I'm from Cleveland. I knew nothing of any of this world until I kind of moved out here and met the Larisons, and you just learning from them and kind of all that they do. But that family is extremely loyal, man. I mean, I think of kind of right on par here with the Patriots podcast. But like, there's a line in Good Will Hunting about Robin Williams talks about Will's friends and. Hey, any one of those guys would have taken a bat to your head, right? So that's what I think of when I think of the Larisons. Those are some loyal people. His sister and brother, like just really, really, really loyal people. And geez, I mean, Rainey got mad at me 2 years ago when Lan got hurt in a game. I was like, what do you want me to do? And we laugh about it, but that's like the type of love and passion they have for Lan and for each other. And it's really, really cool to see. Really, really cool to see.
It manifests for sure, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the field and off the field and in the rodeo and all points in between.
Yeah. Anything they put their minds to, they're going to succeed. Believe that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Kevin, I mean, it's been 32 minutes, but I know I'm conscious of your time here. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I think it's been a great podcast. I think anyone who had questions about who this kid is and what he's done and what his capabilities are, I think you definitely answered them. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Lan? Any funny stories? Any anecdotal things you want to add? Go for it.
I think you gotta. What do you guys call them in business? The teasers, right? You gotta say some things for the future, and you can't give everything out at once, right? So
I like it.
No, Lan's the man. He's the best, dude, and really excited for him in his future and his career, whether it's the NFL or not, man. Like I know he's gonna succeed, and I know everybody's all hyped up on him right now, and especially you guys, but. Whether he's a Hall of Famer or he gets cut in a month, like it doesn't matter to him. He's gonna be grinding regardless and succeed in something he does. So that's the best part about him, man. He doesn't care about any of this.
And we got that right from the horse's mouth. The guy that's worked with him closely for years.
And you can see it. You can see it, and that you can see it in the interviews. You can just tell he's just like this kid is a wholesome kid. He's good. Yeah. And like you said, he's going to be good no matter what, because whatever he does, he's going to put that extra effort in that other people aren't, right? That's the name of the game,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and it's been fun talking about Lan. So finally found somebody that likes Lan a little bit more than we do. That's crazy.
Yeah, we've been going overboard, but we got a feeling, so we're banging the drum. So that's how it goes. We'll continue to do it.
You can't ride the fence, man. Go on one side or the other and stick to it.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you to all the listeners. We'll be, presenting next week. We might have Fitzy on from WEI next week, so that should be fun. If not, the following week. But yeah, stay tuned. Mike and I we're kind of in the dead season here, right? We don't have training camps not till the 23rd. So We got a few weeks here, a little bit of lull, but Mike and I will figure it out, and we'll keep you guys entertained as much as we can.
And swag forthcoming, we promise.
Swag always forthcoming. All right, boys, let's go.
LFG, baby. Let's go.